Hello there, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. It's Discordian Agent here with a video about Oxygen Not Included. I've been playing this base up until about cycle 169, well exactly. We got 10 duplicants running around right now, and we filled out most of the tech tree here. So this is about, beginning of the mid-game, I would say. Early game we were running off of Mealwood, but other than a little bit here for emergency purposes, we moved on to a bristleberry farm here. One of the tips I want to point out for a new player here is the way I'm storing my food here. This little box here that is full of carbon dioxide. I just recently expanded this hall, so I need to remove the previous one. I had 2 halls before that. If we go down here, with the launch update, Clay changed a bit of stuff about how the heat physics work in this game. Specifically, the water sieve here no longer deletes heat from the game. So before it would always put out 40-degree water, now it puts out average of the ingredients, which includes the sand that's in it. So what I came up with as a new solution to handle the heat here, I know this looks a little complicated if you're a new player, but I assure you it's actually not that bad. It's just a bunch of radiant piping. And what's going on here is water comes out of the bathrooms or out of other sources like the carbon skimmers down here and gets dropped into a vent here, drops down into this guy. It gets in this pool, it gets heated up. Then this pool, when it's full, outputs up here to these water sieves. I had this set up a little differently before. Right now it's still filling itself up completely. I knocked out some walls and stuff. But the way this is all working out then, some of the water goes into this thermal aqua tuner here, gets chilled off to 18 degrees or so, goes up here and goes on to be used for farming, and goes on to be used in the bathrooms, because that way it keeps the whole base kind of cool in that area. So it's basically keeping this whole chunk of the base around the temperature here. Meanwhile, other water can go down here into this crazy little maze here, which is cooling off the entire heat generation process here. So we got heavy watt wire running in here, we got 2 coal generators, 2 hydrogen generators, and a wood burner because I had some wood earlier. At this point we might be out of wood almost, or no, still got some, so might switch that over to coal later, might not, we'll see. And then, water that continues down here might go into this carbon skimmer and get turned into food for pinch and pepper plants, or it might go into these metal refineries over here and be used as a coolant. The resulting hot water, which is only 50 degrees, which is kind of hot but not super hot, gets run around over here. Notice that I'm not using radiant pipes for any of this. I could exchange the heat a lot faster, but we probably kind of want to keep it contained in the water. We follow that through here. Eventually it gets consumed in the electrolyzer, which is going to output a 75-degree temperature air and hydrogen mix. So from there, we rely on the way that gas separates in this game to make sure that this area is always full of just hydrogen. That's that purple gas there. And looks like the power is a little jumpy still. I gotta get it evened out a little bit. But when everything's working correctly here, the 2 on the bottom pull out the air, run it through 2 of these thermal regulators, and the resulting air, which is still kind of hot actually, a little hotter than I was expecting here, comes into the base at about 30 degrees. So, I'm not sure if this is a perfect heat solution. It might actually need one more of the thermal regulators in there to help it all out. It's still kind of a work in progress, but I think this is a much better solution for the early game heat issues. This whole system is relying on me bringing water into it. We've got some over here with the plan to bring a lot more in from the top up here, or to process all of the slime that's over in here. And I'm kind of set up for that over here. I get automation on all that, of course. I haven't done much with automation so far. I did automate sweeping up the food, moving it over here. And I set it up to, oh, actually I never configured it. If you want a quick tutorial on automation, here you go. Let's see, we want this thing to hold edible. And then we want bristleberry with a priority of, I don't know, 8. So now, when these plants get harvested, which they aren't right now, this arm should pick it up, sweep it, and send it down here. I say should, except nobody can get there right now, because this piece is inaccessible. Somebody plug that in real quick. I like the setup for the greenhouse here. The lights come off of it in a pretty friendly way. It sets up for these 4 here, which is exactly the same radius as the sweeper for the sweeper arm. Up here we've got some ranching going on with the hatches. These guys are all generating coal. And then this little device here keeps all these guys penned in this little area, but they consider this whole area as part of their pen, so they're happy with the size of it. Then I realized you might as well put some storage in there, so I threw a bunch of storage crates in there for no particular reason. This hatch here is not very well managed. I had a bunch of eggs that got stored incorrectly and then went off in there, hatched in there. Over here I do have a ranch going on for the Drecos, and actually this needs to have an oxygen vent put into it. We're starting to get into some oxygen that included pipe spaghetti right here. So that's kind of the state of affairs right now. We're going to get some suits going on for the atmosphere suits. And then we can start taking apart these biomes, which will be a lot more resources. Getting all the slime turned into water or maybe mushrooms. I'm not really sure how to make the best use of the coal biome with the new Wheezewort mechanics. It's kind of a bit of a change. And I'm thinking somewhere around in here I need to get a room for chlorine, for water filtration and for setting up balm lilies. That way I could have a doctor station. So some more adventures await. Also, there's still the mystery of what exactly is underneath here. You can tell from the neutronium that there's going to be something under there. If we go to the temperature under there, you can see it there. So looks like it's a vent actually, if that little graphical glitch is to be believed. Anyway, so we got some further adventures ahead of us, and of course down here we got the oil biome to look forward to coming up soon.